Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today you're getting a shortened version of one of the things we talked about on the podcast. So, this week's podcast episode, we went over the 5 animated shows that Marvel has coming up. And both Greg and I went through and ranked them, but we wanted to do separate videos in case you don't have a time to check out the whole podcast episode. So, my rankings. I'm going to start out here with number 5, and we're doing this in least anticipated to most anticipated. My number 5, my least anticipated one, is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. The reason why that one is the lowest on my list is I just don't know as much about the show. This one, too, also had a change done to the show. It originally was going to be called Spider-Man Freshman Year. I like the idea of that. I thought, ooh, we're going to get something where Spider-Man, we have freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, all through high school. There's going to be some big event, something that ties every season together, or all the seasons together, that eventually leads up to this climax at the end, probably facing off against the Sinister Six led by Green Goblin, let's say. But now it seems like we're only going to be getting a single season of it. At least that's my feeling with the name change. And that's a little bit disappointing. So what story are they going to tell? And I'm assuming they did, but how did they adjust what storyline they had planned and turned it into something that fit for a single season? That keeps it lower on my list right now. My number 4 is going to be Marvel Zombies. Now, Marvel Zombies was announced right after What If Season 1, and I was kind of excited about it. I still am excited about it. I want to see what they do with this, but I feel like there is a fair amount of change with it. So, in What If Season 1, we got a Marvel Zombies episode. We got to see Zombie Scarlet Witch, which is absolutely terrifying, plus a whole lot more. Not many survivors left. This zombie apocalypse has been going on for a long time. But in the footage shown at D23, it sounded like Shang-Chi was bitten and used the 10 rings to fend off the infection at the start of the zombie apocalypse. So it seems like we're going to a completely different point in time, the start of the zombie outbreak. Now, does that mean it's even going to be the same zombie outbreak? I'm not sure. I kind of hope it's not, actually, because I want it to tell a full story, not just to be like 4 episodes leading up to the point that we got to in What If, or having What If be what would be episode 4 in there, and now it becomes a 5-episode show, and you have to go and track down one episode in the middle of What If Season 1 to really get the full story. So I'm hoping that it's something kind of gross and gory, and we get to see plenty of heroes bit and turned into zombies. But I'm anticipating a little bit less than I was before. My number 3 is going to be, well, X-Men 97. I loved the first season. I thought it was a great show. So why is it only number 3 on my list? Obviously, there are 2 higher than it. I think because it set a standard for itself. And with the first season, I really didn't know what to expect going into it. I was like, okay, this could be good. This could be interesting. But is it going to be as fun as the original one? And the original one obviously was a kid's show. It's like, is it going to still be a kid's show? What are they going to do with it exactly? And then it came out, and there were just hit after hit after hit. I'm excited for season 2. I'm really looking forward to it. But I expect it to be at a level that is up here in terms of quality, in terms of storytelling. And I don't know that it's going to be able to do that because, I mean, even season 1 wasn't consistently up here. There were some episodes that were kind of middling to not that great. But the overall story was so well crafted that I think the exploration of that story and kind of getting it for the first time felt cool and unique, and there were twists on it, and it took comic book storylines but then changed them up just slightly. We're going to get that in season 2, but at the end of season 1 they kind of told us some of those storylines, and maybe those aren't the exact ones that it's going to be, but I'm a little bit worried that the plot for season 2, at least the broad strokes, maybe has been set out and laid out a little bit more clearly than I had been hoping. My number 2 is going to be What If Season 3. This is the finale of What If. The show is coming to an end, and I've enjoyed both seasons so much because it just allows Marvel to say, well, what if? And give me crazy stories, give me different emotional stories and moments and stuff that, like, obviously we're never going to see as part of the MCU. They're not going to go back to Shakespearean times and do a live action movie off of that. If we get to that point, the MCU should just reboot instead. But what is it going to give me? And is it going to give me anything that translates over to the MCU? I'd love to get Uatu the Watcher into the MCU. I'd love to get Captain Carter show up again in the MCU, but have it be the one from What If, and Corti has been a rumor as well. So all of those I'm interested in seeing if they come to the MCU and how much they play into the story. Even Sorcerer Supreme. Is he going to come back? And is it just going to be kind of vignettes again? Or, like season 2 had a few more through lines in it than story 1 or season 1 did? How are they going to balance that out? Because I want to have a lot of really cool and fun and just different feeling stories in What If Season 3 again, and I'm anticipating that we're going to get that a lot. I think they're going to go all out, knowing that it's their final season, and give us some really awesome episodes. And then finally, my number 1 is Eyes of Wakanda. This series is 4 episodes, which is a little bit shorter than I think a lot of people are hoping. Ryan Coogler producing them, so I'm excited for that. But the whole idea is that this is Wakanda. This is the story of the history of Wakanda, about them interacting with the bigger part of the world in the past, and how that's going to work. This show is also rumored to be the most closely tied to the MCU, to the live-action MCU, out of any of the shows. There's rumors of an Iron Fist character that might show up in the future in the MCU. So, or live-action MCU, I should say. So I'm excited to see what they can do there, because I think there's a lot of interesting story and history that they can develop. That can show kind of why Wakanda isolated itself so much, or how Howard Stark maybe got the vibranium for Cap's shield. Stuff like that I think would be really intriguing to delve into and get to understand how the isolationism came about, and just kind of the motivations and workings of Wakanda. Plus, this is not a Black Panther show. This is a Eyes of Wakanda. These are about the Dora Milaje, the spies of Wakanda throughout the world, and just how maybe, I guess the Dora Milaje are a bit more of the Royal Guard, but sorry, that's besides the point. But basically, these other characters, I'm sure there's going to be various Black Panthers we see pop up through this, but it's never going to be, or not supposed to be, the focus of it. which I think is really intriguing to see how they manage to create good stories and how each separate one can be maybe its own unique, new, and kind of fresh idea for a story. But let me know down in the comment section below which one you're anticipating the most, because I think there are a lot of really fun ones out there. And yeah, we're going to have a plethora of Marvel animation coming up here soon. With a lot of content, including 2 that are rumored to still be coming out this year with Eyes of Wakanda and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But really appreciate you watching these videos. If you enjoy this content, check out the other videos on this channel. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to know to be able to see when we have new videos come out, and obviously clicking that notification bell, it's going to let you know when they come out as well. We also have a full-length podcast that I mentioned. You can find that over here on YouTube. Go to the channel, click on the podcast tab, and that'll be one way to check it out, or you can get it wherever your Friendly Neighborhood podcast from. Just search for 10 Minute Marvel. But with that, we'll see you next time.